warning. If you are a replayer, you can, hi Alshmari, you can still participate by tapping on the screen for hearts. Hi Tony C2011, by sharing with anybody who needs to hear this message. And of course, if you want to interact with me and you didn't get a chance to get on the live broadcast, you can find me on Twitter or Snapchat. Okay, mess. Good morning and welcome to my broadcast. Hi Elizabeth, hi Melissa, and if you're new to me, my name is Joannazarach. I do a daily money habits broadcast at 10 a.m. Central Time every single day, 7 days a week. And I've been doing them for a few months now. And hi. And so I also do a Money Matters broadcast. Actually, I'll have a Money Matters broadcast today at 5. I'm not sure what the topic is going to be. Sometimes I get inspiration from just the interactions I have throughout the day on things that people have questions around and we need to dive deeper on. And so Money Habits is all about creating a better money habit, helping people understand how money works, how to make money work for them, and how to focus a little bit of their time every day on their financial matters. So money is a very important, I think it's an important topic in one way because I feel like we need to pay more attention to money because it's creating so much anxiety for people. And the number one thing that I hear people's concerns is they don't have enough. They're in debt, they're cash flow challenged, they just not able to do the things they want to do in their life because of lack of money. And so the topic of today that I want to talk about is how do you value something and how do you make decisions on purchases, on how you spend your money. And on Friday, I talk about fees. And one of the things that the biggest fee that we pay is actually buying based on comparison. And I want to talk about 2 or 3 ways in which we compare. And actually one of the things that I got was from, thank you for the hearts, was from an article that I read. And it was on particularly showing like percentage discounts, like when you shop for something online. So this is a very specific fee that you actually pay, is the you get an impression that you're getting a deal. And there's actually a few lawsuits out there against, there wasn't a lawsuit against Wayfair, but Wayfair was one of the examples they use. There's a lawsuit against Macy's and JCPenney because they're putting list prices on and they're going and they're slashing it by offering discounts. And their list prices are just so outrageous and they never sell. There's a question around if you've never sold an item at a list price, can it actually be used as a list of which you get a percentage discount? So percentage discounting is one of the ways in which you pay fees because you think you're getting a good value. You're not actually looking at it and saying, is this worth the money I'm paying? All you're seeing is, wow, this is a $400 item and I'm getting it for $200. It's a deal. You're not asking yourself, do I need this item and do I need to pay, is it worth $200? I feel like people need to start translating value. And here is the calculator that I use in my head for value. I said, how long do I need to work for this? Yes, I am. Thanks for asking. And so do you need to, how long do you need to work for that? So translate it to your hourly rate after taxes. And then also what is another thing I can do with this money? To me, that's how you determine value of something. It's like, how are you going to use this item? How are you going to, what did you need to give up to acquire this item and how it's going to serve you? And what are the alternative ways on which to spend the money? So, so instead of just comparing, right? Instead of comparing to, well, geez, someone says that this was listed for $400 and I'm getting a deal and I should buy it, right? So make your purchasing decisions based on need, based on value and utility versus just, this is a comparison. So the example from Wayfair in this article was it was a Weber grill that's listed at $199 and Wayfair had $380 list price and they, crossed it off, said 38% off or whatever it was, and it was $195. Now, if you went to Amazon, it was the same price, but the list price was $199, which is what it is. So you're only getting 5% discount. And so the idea is that we are very susceptible to the messaging and the advertising, and people who are trying to sell you things know this, right? You're being sold to by comparison. So the comparison to what this item could be sold for or what it could be bought for. The deal is actually forcing your hand, and you're paying fees because you're buying things that aren't necessarily of value to you, and you're paying a fee by parting yourself with your money. Same happens when, obviously people who are trying to get deals and they're in credit card debt, and you're like, you just paid like an extra 30% because you're carrying credit card interest, so you're never getting a deal. You're never going to get the value out of that until you get out of credit card debt. So that's one type of comparison, which brings you a lot of fees, is that when you think you're getting a discount and buying things based on that comparison instead of looking at the value and saying, does this add value? Is this the value I want to pay for it? And again, determining like, do you really need it versus like, you go to the store and it's a 2-for-1 deal and do you really need 2 of those items, or are you just going to throw one of them out? So, buy a discounting, a volume discount, or you in the store and you're just kind of like, oh, this was a good deal for 1. It must be a good deal for 5. And so ask yourself what you need. That's why it's really important to be thoughtful when you're making purchases. So the other comparison is when you're comparing what you have to other people, like when you're basically looking around and you're like, okay, so-and-so has this or so-and-so needs this, and you're looking at other people's behavior, you're comparing what you need. Again, you're not looking at the value that this brings to your life. You're looking at the comparison. You're saying, okay, this must be important. Like everyone, there's a lot of, I'm reading this book called Connected, and it talks about the social implication or the social influence that other people have, and not just in your immediate circle, but in your third degree. They said beyond third degree, you don't have as much influence, but you may be looking at, at the comparison of what other people are buying, and you're saying, well, maybe they know something I don't, so maybe I should acquire that. So anytime you're going to part with your money, I want you to start being more thoughtful around what it is that you're getting out of it. What is the value that you're paying? And again, value, don't translate it to comparison, translate it to what it took for you to get that money, to buy that object, and then what is it going to bring you in return? We have so much, and myself included, useless stuff in our house that I'm trying to slowly part ways with. And again, the acquisition cost aside, there is basically, filling up, the stuff's filling up my house, and I need to part with that. So I understand the psychology of it. If you start being more discerning at the acquisition stage, it'll be a lot easier to hold on to things that do bring you value and then discard things that don't, by sort of creating that cycle of evaluation before you buy it, right? Before you get the deal, before you figure, well, this is what everybody needs and I should try it as well. So that's the Friday, Be Fee-Free Friday message, is that you need to really evaluate everything that you're spending your money on, especially the things that aren't basic needs, right? Like, so once you figure out what your shelter, food, transportation, and, costs are, when all the things that you're acquiring, all the items especially, and maybe even some experiences, right? You can also evaluate an experience and say, is this where I should be putting my money? What am I buying for it? What am I purchasing, for this experience? Can I get something similar, something just as good? And that's, again, especially when you're trying to prioritize where your money's going. So the message is even stronger for people who are overspending and who are cash flow negative, and you just really need to be more discerning when you're valuing things, especially if you're stuck in a situation where you feel like I can't get any more income. I just need to live within, what I have. You need to get more discerning. And I think that that's really, really hard because the messaging and the sort of the interaction that you have with the world is all designed to make you buy things. And it's okay, but only buy what you need or what you really use and what you value. And always know, if you start translating your time into dollars and what it will take, and be okay with it. And so when you look at something, it's like, that's going to be 10 of my hours. Is it worth it, right? Like, this is how you create financial freedom in your life, when you start really thinking deeply about what your time is worth, what your, and you, by the way, I focused more on my time once I had kids, because I had a lot less of my time. And so that's where I'm starting to be like, okay, what's my time worth? Because it seems so much more precious. And yeah, like right now I'm dealing with a lot of things where I'm trying to get rid of the stuff that at some point was important, right? It played a role. Like the big thing is I keep looking upstairs because I'm up there, and I have a lot of like filing things, because like 5-10 years ago, like paper was still really important, right? A lot of paper files, and I have so many supplies for filing that I need to get rid of, right? Because it no longer brings value to my life, and it just takes up space. But yeah, so next time, before you buy something and you're comparing, make sure you're, instead of comparing, using the value. So evaluate the thing that you want to buy for its intrinsics. And a lot of times it's just step away and just like think about, okay, it's $200. It's not about, is it a good deal because you're getting 25% off? It's, do you want to spend the $200 in this manner? And that's how you will that's how you'll avoid paying fees of comparison. And then also ask yourself, do I really need it? I do. I have this KitchenAid mixer that I hate that I own it, because it was just something that everybody got. I don't ever want to use it. Like, does anybody want a KitchenAid mixer? I need to get rid of it. So, thank you for joining today. Again, focus on eliminating fees. And fees, by the way, fees are any amount of money that you're spending on things that don't bring you joy, don't bring anything, don't add to your life. And I think we pay way too many fees for things that don't enhance our lives. And I want people to stop, because when you stop paying those fees, you will have more cash to invest, of course, but to free yourself from any financial difficulties that you have. And then once you free yourself, don't forget that once you stop consuming so much, you'll be able to invest. And that's what I really want to do, is turn you into investors. So thanks a lot. I'll be on at 5 p.m. Central on Money Matters. Again, I'll be looking for inspiration all day on what topic to cover. I usually take about, I take time to research it, put together some good information, and share that financial nuggets with you guys. So we'll see you at either 5 p.m. Central Time, and if not, I'll be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. and every day after at 10 a.m. Central to talk to you about developing better money habits so that you can keep more of your money, grow your money, invest your money, and obviously be financial free, whatever it may mean to me. So thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.